Welcome to Heal and Create Your Reality TV, where we speak about things that matter in this world. Hmm. Yeah, I like my intro. So we're gonna get right in it. You like how I have my polo shirt off and all like I'm gonna get back to being serious. All right, so I wanted to speak about awakening to our reality, right? And so in order to do that, we have to take the blindfolds of our eyes and really open our minds to understand the power that we hold. And we don't have to go in deep into the things that are happening right now when it comes to darkness. We can just go into the things that are obvious, right? Yesterday, I was speaking about our words, the things that come out of our mouth, right? And so the most powerful equipment per se that we have is our voice, right? And this is why a lot of us were silenced from a very young age because our voice holds power, our words holds power. What we decree and declare becomes true, becomes our reality upon us acting on it and taking the inspired action to make it a reality, right? And so we've been silenced, we've been oppressed in many different forms, right? And so I want to bring out about awareness about this because our voice, our throat chakra, being in our truth, living in our truth is one of the things that will allow us to be able to connect with the Most High God who resides inside of us, right? And so I'll give you a bit about my background. I was very much oppressed when it came to my voice while growing up and even as an adult, right? The reason being that I was groomed. I was groomed to be, well, one, I was groomed to be a sacrifice, right? But not only that, because of all the experiences that I held while I was being groomed, and and I'm just gonna be briefed on it. A lot of molestation, a lot of rejection, abandonment, wounds, betrayals, right? All of these things added up to me suppressing my voice. And then on top of that, as I became an adult, I went ahead and I started to engage in things that kept me more oppressed, right? So that kept me numbed in a slumber per se, because I was so used to it being done to me that when the people that were doing it to me were not physically there, I found ways to do it to myself. Unconsciously, I was being my abuser, right? And so that'll make sense for some people and for some it won't, right? And so I wanted to bring out awareness in regards to our voice. The reason being that the way we speak, what we bring out to the world, matters. It creates a chain reaction, not only in the manifestations of our lives, in the manifestations of our being, but in the manifestations of humanity as a whole, because again, we are one collective, as in the human race, right? We are all connected. And I know that it's going to be hard to understand, which is why I'm not going to go into explaining it, but we can go ahead and we can see and believe that what we speak upon ourselves matter to us. So instead of going and trying to go and heal the world, right? We start with ourselves. Yesterday, I shared a little post about "The Man in the Mirror," the song from Michael Jackson. That song is very relevant for today. If you have a chance, go and listen to it. It starts with us. It starts with each individual seeking truth, their own truth for themselves, right? That's why it's so important that we also detach from the programming, because we've been so programmed to believe certain things that how do we know that that's real to us, right? That is something that we really believe in, that we really think is true for ourselves, or have we been programmed to believe that? And so when we start healing, the first step to everything is to begin to heal, right? To choose to heal, to choose to forgive, to choose the path lesser traveled, right? And in order to do that, We don't go out and point fingers as to they did this, they do that, they treat me this way. We don't do that. We go within. Instead of pointing the finger as to why do they do that, why is this triggering me? Why is this bothering me? And then once you know the why, you do something about it to fix it, which is basically healing. We go ahead and we identify the spirits that are operating through these people and or through whatever it is that's going on, right? It could be a person, a place, or a thing. Why does it bother you, right? And then what spirits were operating through you at that time or even right now. Identify them. Forgive yourself for you not know what you do what you did, because sometimes spirits operate through us and we don't see it until we get to a place of healing that we have exterminated that entity, that spirit that had been operating through us, and then we're able to identify it after it's gone. Sometimes when we're operating through it, we're not able to identify it, right? And so the same thing for other people. We give that same grace to other people and we begin to heal one day at a time, one moment at a time for ourselves. And as we heal for us, that gives a ripple effect into humanity, because as us being one collective, with everything happening in the world right now where all we see is fear, rage, the more we feed into that as a collective, right? The more we'll see of that as a projection of who we are as a collective. I hope that makes sense. We are one together in unity. Behind all of us, there's one consciousness, which is God consciousness, source. Even the diabolical ones, yes. Okay, they too are loved by God. That's why we're a reflection of each other. That's why we don't pass judgment, because we are one. So I hope this helped someone. I'll be back with part two.